This is Mrs. Patterson's homework help, and this is for math lesson from lesson 3 from chapter 1. And the page that we're going to be going over, the pages we're going to go over, is pages 27 from the workbook and page 28 from the workbook. As I've said before, you're welcome to pause this, write down all the questions and the answers if you forgot your homework or you happen to have been absent. Now, we are still talking about place value, but we're now looking at our numbers and using a number line to compare numbers to see which number is larger. Okay? And number lines can be tricky. Usually they go from the smallest and they get greater going that way, and go smaller coming that way. And they've given a pretty good example. If you have 54,515 and 54,233, if you put them on the number line, then you can clearly see that this number is larger than that number. And they want us to use the greater than or less than. This is the less than symbol, greater than symbol, and the equal to symbol. If that's confusing to you, just remember to put the larger n near the bigger number. For example, we know that 54,515 is a greater number than 54,233. So we put that bigger n there. Conversely, or on opposite, you can write it this way: 54,233 is smaller than or less than 54,515. Either way is correct because you have the correct side next to the number. Now, when it's already pre-written here, you have to determine which number is bigger. Now, on the first two problems, they've given you number lines, so it's very easy to find your numbers and get an idea of if it's less than, or greater than. Okay? But what happens when you have just two numbers sitting next to each other? This can be sometimes confusing because your eye goes right to it and you're not really quite sure, hey, which number is bigger? Am I counting the digits and so forth? And a lot of times I like to use a lined piece of paper with this. For example, if I have 751,000, 12, and 715,000, 12. Are they trying to trick you here? You bet. Look at this. It's difficult to see, but when I turn my lined paper sideways, I can line up my digits. I can even put my commas in to make sure they're in the same place. And when you compare, you really want to start over here. 7 and 7 are in the same place, so that's pretty much, those are the same number. Then I look at the next place. Hey, wait a minute. 5 is bigger than 1, so I know now this number is the bigger number. And it's easy to compare that way. So then I can look here and say, hey, I know I need to put the greater than symbol or the bigger side to the bigger number. Now on the back, we have a couple of word problems, and really this is the first kind of going into the word problem that we've had. Don't freak out about a word problem. Best thing to do is write out, draw pictures for yourself, rewrite information on the side. For instance, draw a conclusion. In other words, I have to make up my mind about something. Gigi has 1,698 in her savings account. Robert has 1,898 in his savings account. Toby has 100 less than Robert in his savings account. Who has the least amount of money? Well, we've got three people here. We've got Gigi, we've got Robert, and we've got Toby. So you break it down that way. We know what Gigi has. Gigi has what? 1,698. Okay? Robert has 1,898. Notice how I'm lining them up so I can compare them. Okay? You can also do this on a lined piece of paper. Now Toby, he has 100 less than Robert. Okay? So where's my hundreds place? Right here. So he's 100 less than Robert. So we can just take 1 out of this. Or if you need to, subtract 100. If you need to do that, do that. And what do we have? 1,798. So now, but what's the answer to the question? What's the answer we need? Who has the least amount of money? Well, if we look at that place value in the hundreds, we know we've got 1698, 1698, 1898, 1798, which is least. Gigi. She's got a 6 in that hundreds column. This is all the same, so we know we can kind of just look past that. So Gigi is the one with the least amount of money. Poor Gigi. So go ahead and try figuring out the next problem and the rest of the problems to the worksheet. Now, since you've watched the slip go all the way through, oh, that's my doggy. It's okay, Luna. Okay, put in the correct symbol for comparing these two numbers. We have 24,329 or 2,936.